Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of the Think Global Podcast. I'm your host, International Seth, and today's date is September 15th, 2021. If this is your first time coming by the podcast, we'd like to welcome you with open arms. Make sure that you subscribe to our channel by hitting the icon in the lower right-hand corner. You can also follow us on social media. Today, we have a new guest coming on, all the way from my hometown in Seattle, Washington. This gentleman is a CEO and a founder of a new innovative company that deals with philanthropy and trying to create equity all across the world. He also is a former professional baseball player, and he also is a good friend of mine. We'd like to welcome Mr. Gerald Smiley on to the Think Global Podcast. Welcome, Gerald.
I appreciate you having me, Seth. Always good to see you, man. You're looking good. You're looking healthy. Always smiling. Appreciate it. All the listeners, make sure you do what he said earlier. Subscribe in the bottom right-hand corner because this man is always on fire, always speaking the truth. It's always a pleasure listening to your podcast too, and I'm just honored to be on here. I appreciate you, brother.
Hey, man, we go way back to like the mid-90s, man, when you used to throw smoke on the mound back in, all around the town, man. So a lot of people will know that you play professional baseball in the Texas Rangers organization. You want to talk a little bit about your professional stints over there?
Yeah, it was a fun experience, man. God, definitely blessed me with some talent. And as you know, our job is to go multiply that. And how I was able to multiply that was the community and, people, coaches, who helped elevate the skill set that God gifted me with and said, hey, try this. And you never know how hard your hard work will pay off one day. Same community, area you grew up in. So I got to give all the honors and kudos to my support system, helping me, stay focused on my task as a kid. And listening to some of them. It wasn't always, the easiest route. But at the end, I was blessed to say, hey, look, I'm going to do everything they told me to do because this is truly my dream and my goal. And was able to get drafted out of high school in the 9th round to the Major League Baseball draft. And I had to grow up quick, Seth. You're 18 years old from the inner city, from the hood, and they give you, hundreds of thousands of dollars and say, hey, look, go be a pro. And you're like, whoa, what do you mean be a pro? I've never been taught how to be a pro. So you got to learn quick. You got to look at the people around you who've been there, who've done that, see how they live their life, how do they go about their business. Because it's different, when you're just in high school, you're on a different pedestal. But the experience, just to get to that level was a blessing. A lot of networking, a lot of, other areas that open a lot of doors. Unfortunately, I ended up getting hurt, 3 surgeries in 5 years. You become a bad investment at some point when you can't stay out of the training room, you know what I mean? So, but, a lot of relationships was built. Didn't make it to the big leagues, but that's okay. That was my dream. That was my goal. But just understanding, the game of baseball from a different perspective too. It's a business when you get to that level. It's not just a sport and a game. A lot of kids think, mom and dad can pay your fees and I'm always going to have a jersey and I'm always going to have a uniform. So going into it, sometimes that's what you always think because that's all you ever want to do. I'm going to get this next contract. I'm going to do this, but there's a lot of other factors that play into that. And anybody who's watching this, what you're doing right now today is setting you up for your future. How hard you're working right now is going to set you up for your future, or it's not going to set you up. And the only person you can blame is yourself if you don't accomplish those things. Now, if you fall short because you did put in the effort, that's okay. But you know what? You did your best. Let whatever you believe in do the rest, right? And help you get to where you want to get to. But having a mindset of learning how to become a pro right now, how you go about your business as a young kid is important. How you walk, how you talk, how you dress, pictures you put on your Instagram, on your Twitter, things that you say, how you carry yourself through social media. People are watching you. After I got done playing professionally, I went into the coaching and the scouting world that we can touch on here in a little bit. But on the pro side, man, it really opened my eyes to a lot of things because I was a young kid, 18 years old, having to change my whole mindset instantly and learning the game from the angle. But again, it goes back to, my parents and the community teaching me morals and values that I had a foundation, at least as an 18-year-old, leaving across this country to go to Florida and report to camp. I had a foundation that I can continue to build off of and become, the man I am today, through the eyes of the people who helped me.
Absolutely, man. And kudos to you. I know to take a, as a former professional athlete myself, I know that the amount of hard work and what you mentioned about support system, you know what I'm saying? I know that how that important is that because, you can, when your ego gets up and you can think that you're the best thing, but, like you said, go through one injury or have some challenges or setbacks and then the people around you see who they really are. So I want to discuss the demographic of Major League Baseball. I mean, I used to follow baseball, back in the day, but I to be honest, I haven't watched a game in probably over 15 years, man. I don't know I don't know who's on doing what. All I know is baseball is longevity and that's where the money's at. But I do know like a lot of like the players now, especially the good ones, are from Latin America and Central America and places in South America as well. You want to talk about how like the demographics of Major League Baseball has changed?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, the Latins took over baseball a long time ago. The percentages of Latins on the big league roster outweigh the Americans. But at the end of the day, I think these other countries where these athletes come from, no matter if you're from the Latin America or Asian descent countries, whatever it is, they understand the hard work also like Americans, but they also understand this is a lot of the time, this is life or death for them to get out of poverty, get over here and be able to take care of their families forever with their hard work. And these are the things that they really, most of the things they really look forward to in becoming, especially in those Latin countries, Dominican, Venezuela, and Puerto Rico. A lot of it is baseball, how do I get out of here? And a lot of the former Major League guys, they pump money into some of these communities and they have Major League Baseball academies over there at a young age. And, guys are getting signed 15, 14 years old into the Major League Baseball academies and getting that type of baseball instruction. There's a lot of people in the US who focus on which team should my son play for in youth ball, the logo, right? The logo, how many wins? Are we winning all these tournaments? Look at us versus saying, hey, no, let me go find a coach who has a real player development system. I don't care how many games we win, is my son or my daughter developing? And when you look at the major leagues or any professional sport, there's a system that people follow. And when you have different coaches on a coaching staff that are trying to create the same philosophy, but using different vocabulary with these young kids, they get confused. So certain keywords in a system understand trigger points, right? If I'm a pitcher, release point, arm angle, foot strike, when my front foot hits the ground, what keywords am I using with my pitching staff? What keywords am I using with my hitters to get them in time, in sync to be successful? So I think that's another part of why these other countries are developing faster, because they're really following the system that the retired players, Major League Baseball, are pumping into these communities, and they have a system. So if I get called up from Dominican Summer League and I go to rookie ball, and then I advance to A ball, and then I go to AA, and I go to the big leagues, the system is the same. The key words are the same, right? Our pickoff plays, our bunt plays. I have to be in sync. Each level I go, I need to know the system. So there's a lot of coaches in the US. They just do a lot of this because they either care and they want to give back, and they don't care about how much money they make, which is amazing. And then there's coaches who only want to do this because they love the game, but they know this is how they pay their bills 12 months out of the year. When you and I grew up, you played multiple sports, Seth, and you weren't even looked at as an athlete when we grew up if you didn't play more than one sport. Now there's a certain age and grade level you get to where you should say, hey, look, I'm going to choose now because this is really my route and real life is getting closer to me because I'm going to graduate and it's time to make a decision. But we're seeing 8, 9, 10-year-olds, man, just being one sport athletes, and their athleticism could really excel in other areas. And we were told, hey, look, take a break now, let your body rest from that. Go let your body learn other muscle groups, fire those muscle groups, fast twitch muscles over here, because it's going to help you back in this sport later. You're just not seeing that no more. So, and the flip side to that is if you are a one sport athlete, then I feel like you should be you should be a lot closer to your dream if you're really putting in the work. If that's the only sport you're playing 12 months out of the year, you got to be able to assess yourself, right? And be honest with yourself. Am I really putting in the time? Am I spending more time on video games than I am on my workouts? Am I spending more time with my friends versus finding my nutrition, making sure that's important to me? If I come up to you right now and say, hey, Seth, yo, man, you want to go to the mall with me on Saturday? Most kids will be like, yeah, cool, right? I would be like, yes, but can I meet you there at this time? Because I got to get my work in first, and then I'll meet you there. That kid is dedicated to their dream, and they actually have ownership. So that's why I would say these other countries really took over the game, because they know it's life or death, versus over here, we have so many more opportunities.
Absolutely, absolutely, man. That's really good insight, man. And one country I wanted to mention too, just real quick in passing, is Japan too. They have a lot of professional athlete baseball players coming and being produced. So you mentioned ownership, and we're going to segue into talking about your company that you founded just recently and the success that you've been having. Do you want to talk about Chip In, and when and why did you find the organization?
Yeah, I appreciate that. Chip In's an online fundraising platform for validated for-profits, nonprofits, celebrities, athletes, influencers who want to help raise funds for themselves and or their community in an easier way. It's a B2B, B2C social giving model. We incentivize and can reward individuals who pay it forward. So we launched last June. We've moved over $3.5 million on our platform to help organizations and individuals who need help. And we're full transparent with everything that we do. We show people where the money's going. And that's what people want to see. There's a lot of things online. You see commercials on TV, text to give, do this, and you have no idea who's really behind that engine. So we give that full transparency. We want communities to come together as one. And that's why I call it Chip In, is because when you hear the word donate, a lot of people cringe, right? So we just say, hey, chip in what you can, micro payments, $1, $2, whatever it is, and we can help pay it forward and get this community that you live in and this world we live in into a better place without people having to go broke. How it started, man, it was a blessing. It really fell in my lap. It was weird. I moved back to Seattle in 2016. My mom was getting sick in 2017. She ended up passing away. I coached Rainier Beach High School, my alma mater. They were going to close down the baseball program from what I was hearing. And I learned there was 2 homeless kids on the team. And at the time, I just said, you know what, Lord, let me go pump some life back into the baseball program, rejuvenate it, pump some life into these kids. They hadn't won a game in a decade, wasn't focused on winning, could care less how many games we won. Can we keep this program alive? We were negative $300 in the budget when I took over as the head coach. We had 3 baseball bats. They were broken. We had like 7 uniforms. You need 9. And they're like 15 baseballs in the bucket. So I needed a plea for help bad. So our AD said, hey, look, either he said, use snap raise. So I went to go, talk to the regional director, and they wouldn't let me use snap raise until the season actually started. Well, that would have been too late to fundraise because I need equipment before the season starts. So I had to use GoFundMe. We raised $18,000 in a week, $42,000 in 7 days. The community did that. I didn't do that. I told a story. My staff, my kids, community had a collaboration of efforts. We walked the community. We picked up trash in the community with our jerseys on. We went to the homeless shelters. We were feeding them. We were door knocking in the community, asking people for help just to help us do this. And the community came together. But I learned a lot of pain points of GoFundMe. One, they took a lot of our fees. We didn't get the full amount. The individuals who donated to us, all I could do was say thank you. A local business gave us a lot of money, which was a restaurant. And I couldn't drive customers into their restaurant other than just say thank you. So I took a look at the market. I said, this can't be the best fundraising tool because no one even knows where the money really went. They just trust me and my credibility and my staff that we're going to do what we said we're going to do with these funds. So I woke up from a dream March 3rd, 2018 at 1:30 in the morning, Seth, and the Lord said, type this in your Excel spreadsheet. And I started typing, and I went and did market research for 2 years and said, hey, how are we going to be different? What's our DNA? How do I build a moat around our business model? and make sure we differ from all the other fundraising platforms that's out there. So, what you see on our homepage is really only 1/16 of what really is coming. We love where we're at. We love where we're headed, but we couldn't be where we're at without the community, because all the people who've chipped in to help those organizations helped us be who we are today. And that's what we built this for, the community. So we're going to continue to expand and help communities in need and give full transparency. We're going to rebuild schools, communities, parks. We're going to do a lot of things through this model of people just seeing their money rebuild things and people just coming together as one.
So why don't you go ahead and shout out to you have an app and you also have a website. Why don't you go ahead and shout out your app and your website and let people know where they can get more information about this platform.
Yeah, so right now it's just web-based at the moment. We will be in the App Store soon. It's CHIP, CHIP-NIN.co, chip-n.co.
Okay, so just try to simplify really quickly, how does it work? So if I go to chip.n.co and I want to donate, is there different like campaigns or, but what about the flip side? Or what about if I have a project or something, and if I want to get funding for that, how do the people contact you?
Yep, so you go to chip-n.co, in the top right corner, you just hit start a pot. If you want to start your own campaign, you hit start a pot, fill out that information, submit it. We get you up and running. If you want to just support something that's already on there, you just find which campaign speaks to your heart, and then you give to that campaign specifically. For-profit businesses who want to start a business, they can use friends and family as this engine to say, hey, look, can you help me with some seed funding and get me up and going? Or hey, look, I'm raising $5,000 just because I want more equipment for my podcast or my art studio. So anyone can use this platform who wants to kickstart their business, accelerate their business. Restaurants, doesn't matter. Let's just use a restaurant as for an example. They want to remodel or open a new franchise or new location. Use your customers. Give them a 2-for-1 or 50% off if they give you $20. You got 20,000 customers in your database and they just gave you $20 one time, that's 400 grand. And offer them a reward to help you elevate your business, but you're going to elevate their experience also as a business owner. Instead of going to get a construction loan to remodel or do whatever, or a loan at the bank with interest rates, use your community you already have and reward them in the same token. We're just going to change the narrative.
Absolutely. So could you provide just like a concrete example of like one of your high success stories? I've seen you've been working a lot with like schools. You have been working with a lot like athletic programs as well. Yeah, I see a variety of different type of projects that you guys have been partnered with. What do you think your most successful campaign was?
Yeah, we're proud of all of them, and we're proud of all of the organizations that are on their platform. The ones who've raised some of the most dollars for their organizations has been the Federal Way School District. The community came together to help them raise $3 million to get laptops for kids during the COVID for remote learning. They had a levy that was already passed, but it was 3-to-1, 3 children to 1 laptop. And then COVID hit. So they needed to go to 1-to-1 really quickly. They showed full transparency to the community with the purchase order inside of their fundraising campaign on our platform, and just gave extra layer of transparency to the community that here's a real invoice. We need this to be paid, and community come together. Jake Mintz, he actually he rode his bike from New York to Chicago because on his baseball podcast, he said, hey, if Tony La Russa gets hired with the White Sox, I'm going to ride my bike from New York to Chicago. And he raised about 30,000+ in probably about 14 days for a youth organization in the inner city of Chicago. He donated 100% of those proceeds. We have Players for the Planet, which is a Major League Baseball organization of former players who played. And what they do is, help save the ocean. They take out plastic in the oceans during, in the off season, have a lot of the players understand how to, get our earth and our world back to where it should be and can be. The Brewers help sponsor them, SC Johnson. So we have quite a few on there who, have raised quite a bit of money. But you know what? No matter what platform you use, you still have to push it. You have to promote it. You have to get eyeballs on it. You can't just post something one time and think, everyone sees it. Everyone doesn't check their social media every day. So having a real strategy around your fundraising efforts or any marketing plan is important. So yeah, those are some of the ones that have highlighted, the most money into their organizations.
Okay, cool. That's really impressive, man. And best of luck to you guys. One quick question: have you guys partnered with any international organization? Because we have quite a bit of people watching, maybe from different parts of the world. But have you partnered like with any international organization before in the past?
Yeah, a couple in Canada that we've partnered with, and we have some stuff coming out soon that I can't say yet, but some big partnerships overseas. So yeah, at the end of the day, the U.S. is not the only place where people need help. These other countries are in greater demand for things, but more importantly, transparency for them to see where their money's going. And some countries are, corrupt in some systems where, if they put all that kind of money in a bank over there, then who knows what might not happen or what might happen to those funds. So we bring that extra layer of transparency and security, that they know their dollars are safe, but also their dollars are going to go back out to them. And it stores on our platform. So yeah, international, really just been in Canada. We've received payments and donations from other countries, you being one of them too, when you were in Qatar. And we say thank you for supporting those efforts 100%. So yeah, at the end of the day, we have a big partnership that we're going to announce soon. But yeah, we want to help serve. We put technology around servant leadership. That's what we did. But we just looked at pain points in the world and said, how do we solve those problems around technology?
Sounds good, man. And may God bless you and bless your efforts, man, and give you guys much success, man. I know that you're doing a good job. You're a really, really inspiring individual, and you're going to touch whatever you touch is going to turn to positive, man. We have the whole support Think Global Podcast and Azomco family behind you, man. And go ahead and shout out your social medias if people want to follow you guys on Instagram or Facebook.
I appreciate that. Our Twitter is chip_in_co, chip_in_co. Same with our Instagram, chip_in_co. And then our Facebook is chip.dash.in.
Perfect, man. All right, bro. So best of luck until now, and then we'll holler at you again, bro. Appreciate you coming on the show.
Likewise, man. I'm proud of you. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep your energy. Never change who you are, man. You're a true inspiration too to a lot of people. So I'm proud of you. I've seen you come a long way too, from a boy to a man, and the changes that you've made and the growth that I've seen you do is phenomenal. So keep pumping that into the people that you work with as well.